Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. If you're one of my regular viewers, you know I have been kind of on a covers kick lately. So we're continuing with that with a tribute to the Ramones, We're a Happy Family, produced by the one and only Rob Zombie, along with Johnny Ramone. I picked this album up when it first came out, and that would have been in 2003. I picked it up as a brand new release on the shelves. This is when I worked in the evil company, and I used to go to the entertainment section and check out the new releases on the CDs on a regular basis. Because this is when CDs were still cool. People were still buying them. Downloading was starting, but you know, this is when you were still buying music. My kids grew up with this album. My kids actually knew these songs better through these covers than they actually knew through the original albums, because it took a while before I actually started buying the original albums on CD. Now, let's get into the actual music. The album opens up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers covering the song Havana Affair. I really kind of like the vibe and essence that the Red Hot Chili Peppers put into it. They do give it a little bit more of a swing, give it a little more of that kind of Caribbean-esque kind of vibe, flowiness to it. The Ramones had it there originally too, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers definitely exploit a lot more and really play with a lot more and do what the Red Hot Chili Peppers do with that type of stuff. It is a good cover. I like it. I'm not a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, really. I don't mind this. It works. Starts off the album nicely. Just not a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan for the most part. From there, we go into Rob Zombie doing Blitzkrieg Bop. Rob Zombie is always good for a cover. He doesn't always hit it out of the park with his covers. The Children of the Grave version that White Zombie did wasn't bad. Not as good, obviously, as the original, but there's other ones where Rob's done it, like where he's done Boogeyman was a great cover. Brick House was a great cover. Blitzkrieg Bop, cherry cover. They crank up the drumming on it, which is a little weird because it's the Ramones. You know, cranking up the drumming seems a little odd, but they really do. They overdo the drumming a bit. It sounds great though, really good. Really kicks it into gear. Really love what they do with the song. I know there's a lot of people out there that are detractors from the song, especially that drumming part. I really dig it. I really get into it. I think it is a fantastic cover. And it does go into, if I put together cover mixes, it goes into that. After that, we get into I Believe in Miracles, which is Eddie Vedder with Zeke. I have no clue who Zeke is. And, Eddie Vedder, we are talking Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam fame. Eddie Vedder is a huge Ramones fan. And he loves doing Ramones songs. And I, as much as I'm not a Pearl Jam fan, I have respect for them to a degree. I do like Eddie's voice. It's a little boring, it's a little blasé, but when he's doing the Ramones, it really works, you know? He captures it right. Now, that being said, it's not as good as the original Ramones version, but it's still good. Then we go into Metallica doing 53rd and 3rd. This was recorded during the Saint Anger time period, and you can tell by the sound quality on it, because it actually sounds like it belongs off of the original Garage Days, which I recently did a review for. I'm talking about the EP, not Garage Inc. And it really has this kind of rawness to it, and beautiful rawness to it. That being said, not like it's good. I usually like Metallica doing covers better than the originals. There's rare times where I will stick with the originals. This is one of the rare times I will stick with the original. It's Lars. Lars didn't feel right on it, doing it, to me. You know, the drums just weren't quite the way they should have been. Then we get to U2 doing Beat on the Brat. Wouldn't have expected U2 on here. And my only complaint is the song sounds too damn polished. It sounds U2 polished, which is cool. It's awesome because it totally sounds like U2 covering the song. I think it's a good song. I like the cover. I really like it, but it's too polished sounding. It should just sound a little bit raw, a little bit rougher. A little more like their rattle and hum. A little less like Vertigo. I think Vertigo's the album I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Or the song or whatever it is. I don't remember. I'm not a huge U2 fan. Then we got Kiss doing Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio? So, I have huge issues with the fact that it says Kiss doing Rock and Roll Radio. There's not a single fucking member of Kiss on here except for Paul Stanley. Not even one of the other guys from Kiss that are replacing Ace and Peter, okay? Not even them. This was a bunch of studio musicians, basically, and Paul Stanley doing this, and then they put it under the title of Kiss. Gene Simmons, you are the most horrible stereotype in the world. Seriously. You are an offensive stereotype of your own people, and this is exactly why I think that. I am sorry. I am totally sorry. This should have been put under Paul Stanley and never should have been put under Kiss. That all being said, that diatribe aside, I actually really dig it. I really think a great variation was done of it. And I think Paul Stanley should get the credit for what was done because it was done well. It was really well done. And I think he sounds great on it. But not Kiss. And you can hear it's not Kiss either. It doesn't even sound like Kiss. Then we got the KKK Took My Baby Away from Marilyn Manson. Totally different. Not totally different. I mean, you can still tell it's the KKK Took My Baby Away. But the way that Manson does it, it is not the way the Ramones do it. If you are a total diehard fan of the Ramones version, you will most likely not care for this one. I'm not a diehard fan of the original version. I really do dig this version. I think both are enjoyable in their own different ways. But Manson puts a twist on it where it sounds scary and it sounds horrifying. And, like, it was a basic punk song when the Ramones did it, The KKK took my baby away. Took it away from me. The KKK took, Whereas Manson, the way he's got it slowed down a little and ominous. And, the KKK took my baby away. Took my baby, and just makes it really ominous and horrifying. Like, how creepy the KKK really is. Then we got Garbage doing I Just Want to Have Something to Do. First off, never really got into Garbage, but I really think Shirley Manson is a fun vocalist. And Garbage did some songs that were really good and really fun. And I was really surprised to see Garbage on here because I didn't think they were around anymore at this point. I thought Garbage was over and done with for like almost 5 years at this point. And this version of it is really good. And I think Shirley Manson sounds fantastic on it. And I think the female version of it actually sounds better than the male version of it. I really do think that. I think it actually lends to it. It makes it into a better song. Then we got Green Day doing Outsider. Outsider is a boring song. Green Day is a boring band. But Green Day had to be on there because you had to have some real punk representation, right? Real punk. Then you got the Pretenders doing Something to Believe In. Once again, this is something really cool. I'm not a huge Pretenders fan, but there is respect to be had for the Pretenders. And Something to Believe In, while I'm not a huge fan of that particular song, their version of this is really good. And I like having it on this album. It helps kind of break up the album a little bit, right? And then we go into Rancid doing Sheena Is a Punk Rocker. Now, when I was in high school, Rancid was one of the big punk bands. I never quite understood why Rancid was one of the big punk bands. Because to me, Rancid was the cliche boring side of punk. Really, honestly, the cliche boring side of punk where it's just like, that was Rancid to me. And I have Rancid kind of in the same breath as the Ramones. Yes, there are definitely Ramones songs that make me think Rancid, and those are usually CJ singing. Sheena Is a Punk Rocker is not a song I would have expected them to do. They do a good version of it, though, man. It was pretty tasty. It's enjoyable. Then we got Peter Yorn, who I have no clue who the hell that is. Or, sorry, Pete Yorn, doing I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. Does a good version of it. I enjoy the Ramones version as well. It's not one of my favorite Ramones songs, but it's not a bad tune. It's okay. Then we get to the Offspring doing I Want to Be Sedated. I enjoy the Offspring. I enjoy multiple songs that they've done over the years. I think they're a fun band. And that's what the Offspring is to me, is the Offspring is honestly a fun band. It totally makes sense that they do I Want to Be Sedated. I would have rather heard a different band do it though, because when you get into this one little section here, so starting with Green Day's Outsider, Rancid's Sheena, I Want to Be Sheena, Rancid's Sheena is a punk rocker, Peter Yorn, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend, Offspring's I Want to Be Sedated. The covers are too faithful. They're too bang on. They're too much like the original. And these particular vocalists aren't distinct vocalists. They aren't special powerhouses of their own. And the bands aren't standout kind of bands to me. And because of that batch of songs really kind of suffers for it. And if the Offspring were not following up Green Day and Peter Yorn and Rancid, I might have more appreciation for their version of I Want to Be Sedated than I do, but not enough. And I Want to Be Sedated was one of my very first Ramones songs that I really, truly, honestly loved. And it's one of the very first songs that I ever wanted to cover from the Ramones. After that, we go into Rooney. Once again, no clue. Doing Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. That's one of those ones where I kind of like it, I kind of don't. And I felt that way even from the Ramones version. So, not a huge fan either way. Then we got Tom Waits doing Return of Jackie and Judy. Tom Waits is awesome. Tom Waits has got a cool voice. And I have honestly spent a lot of years trying to perfect and do that raspiness that Tom Waits does. And I've tried really hard and I can never get it quite right. And there's just something sexy about that raspiness of his. It's not that he's got a good voice by any stretch of the imagination. No, I don't believe he's got a good voice. But hearing him do a version of this song was really cool. And having that put on there really honestly was a great way to put it on. And if it were not for the bonus track, which oddly the bonus track's actually mentioned on here, they don't normally do that. That would have been the song that would have finished the album. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But the song that actually finishes the album is Daytime Dilemma, Dangers of Love, featuring, once again, Eddie Vedder and Zeke. And I think that's why it was put on as a bonus track, was because he was the only one they were the only ones allowed 2 tracks. So it was put on as a bonus track. It's kind of hidden a couple tracks in. That was a great way to end the album. It was a really, really cool, solid way to end the album. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was a good choice, and it was done perfectly. If you're a Ramones fan and you can get your hands on this album, as much as I kind of downplay some of those songs in the middle to the end, it's still a good album, man. It is really worth checking out this album. I absolutely love this album. I still listen to it regularly. I still listen to half of this album regularly. Half of it will still go into mixes for me, especially if I'm putting together cover mixes. It's great. Absolutely fantastic album. And I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, there's also this cool little intro in here too about it. This giant write-up on the inside. I do have a complaint because it's glued into the book, which kind of makes it a pain in the ass. But the inside notes about this was actually written by Stephen King. And it makes sense that Stephen King would do this because Stephen King is a huge Ramones fan himself, which I have mentioned before in covering the Ramones. And I am glad that Stephen King got to be included in this. And I am glad that a lot of the bands that are on here got to be included in this. And I know there was a lot of controversy when this album came out because it is a bunch of huge big name bands that are on here. And that is almost anti-Ramones. But proceeds from this album, or part of the proceeds from this album, went to the Lymphoma Research Foundation. And that is because of lymphoma hitting home with the band. That's what cost us one of the first Ramones. Much love to my three brothers up in heaven. Hope you're rocking away, and I hope you guys found some peace with each other. This is the Ramones. This is my thoughts and my views. The comment section is for your thoughts and your views. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave me your comments. That's what I was going to say there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the notification button. That helps out both of us. There is also a link below to Patreon. Please, by all means, hit up Patreon. There's a thing there where you can just leave me $1 a month. That would be awesome. If you don't want to do that, that's cool too. Otherwise, peace, love, and take care.